I want to first start out by thanking everyone for coming today. We have a perfect weather to be outside for all the activities that we have planned. All the money collected from today's activities will go towards an organization called Giving Children a Voice. For some of you that do not know me, I am Noelle. I am the founder of Giving Children a Voice. It is a nonprofit organization that helps children that are at risk. I became an advocate for children when police officers surrounded my neighbor's home. I could hear the police officers telling all the neighbors to stay inside. I remember looking out my window and seeing the police officers going up to my neighbor's door with a battering ram. They broke down the door and pulled the father out of the house and handcuffed him. Then I saw two little girls with knotted hair, ripped clothes, no shoes, being escorted out of the house by a tall, lanky, stern-looking woman. These children were swept away into the woman's car. That was the first and last time I have ever seen those children. I have lived in my home for over 5 years, and never once did I see those children playing outside. Later, I heard through neighborhood gossip the father kept the children locked in the basement. The children were discovered by a neighborhood boy who had kicked a soccer ball into their yard. The ball rolled near the basement window. He peered into the basement window and saw these two little girls huddled together crying. He ran home and he told his mother what he had saw. The woman then called the police. Seeing those children and hearing the story made me want to do something and help some way. Ever since that day, I've been doing all I can to help those that do not have a voice to finally be heard. Today, I want to discuss with you about an epidemic that is growing in our country. It affects 1 out of 5 children. It's an epidemic that can be stopped. No one else has to belong to a secret club. It is a club that no one wants to join, yet many belong. Growing up, you might have had a friend that belonged to the secret club. Those that belong would go to great lengths to hide its secret club. If you really, I mean really, really paid attention, you might have seen the clues. These clues, when discovered, would have made any person gasp or their heart stop just for a moment. What is this epidemic and how can I stop it? These might be the words that are swirling around your mind and perched on your lips waiting to be spoken. Move closer, perk up your ears. I want to whisper this dirty little secret. It's poverty. Poverty is one of the easiest epidemics to rid ourselves of. It is also one of the most damaging to our children. So you might be saying, what are some of the ways we can end poverty? Well, we need to create jobs for the unemployed or the underemployed. One of the fastest way out of poverty is a well-paying job. We all know that. Yet, how many companies do you know they only hire you part-time because they don't want to pay you benefits? We need to kickstart the job growth in this country. We need to stop all this. We need to have where people are back being employed full-time. We need to have jobs. The federal government could invest in job creation strategies by revitalizing our neighborhoods. Look at some of these neighborhoods. They're falling down. We need to go bring people in that are unemployed to bring life back into these communities, to make us feel proud of the places we live. We also need to revive these old abandoned houses that so many people lost so many years ago because they could no longer afford to pay the mortgage. We need to go in and fix these homes up or people that are unemployed or underemployed. Teach them job training for that. We also need to raise the minimum wage. I know there's much debate about this, but raising the minimum wage would pull more than 4 million Americans out of poverty. Imagine that. 4 million. Wow. We need to support pay equality. Women are still making less than her counterparts. Most women are raising their children alone. So they're getting paid less, they're raising their children alone, and most of the time they're not receiving child support. So what's going to happen? Who suffers? No wonder why our children live in poverty. We need to pass the Paycheck Fairness Act. This will hold employers accountable for the discriminatory salary practices. This might help the single women or the married women to finally make a livable wage. We need to ensure all jobs get paid and sick leave. Now, I know that might sound silly, but a lot of jobs don't offer it. 4 in 10 private sector workers and 7 in 10 low-wage workers do not have a single paid day. Not one. This puts workers in a horrible position of deciding between going to work to their much-needed job or taking a day off to recoup. Try to remember, when you have bronchitis or a little cough, we'll even say a little cough, and it started out as a little cough, and you didn't listen, and you kept going to work, and then it turned into bronchitis. We need to really make these employers accountable and say, hey, wait a minute. If somebody's sick, they really need to be home. They really need to have it paid. Because we know most workers will still continue to go to work and risk their health. And how sad is it that we live in a country where money is more important than people's lives? Congress needs to pass laws to enforce employers to give sick leave. There are many more ways that we can help end poverty. Just think about it. There's tons of ways. But let's see what else happens when a child lives in poverty and the lasting effects on their development. Children in poverty often live in households that is considered food insecure. Food insecure families choose cheaper foods over costly and nutritious foods to sustain their families. So in other words, instead of going and buying that wheat bread that's $2, they'll buy the white bread. Or they'll buy the white pasta instead of the whole wheat. Now we all know that the wheat and the whole wheat is better for us than the white bread or the white pastas. Food insecurities is linked to nutrition deficiencies that cause problems in children that are both linked to learning and developmental problems in infants and toddlers. So, we give them a little bit of nutritional food, might help solve some of these problems. So what are the long-term effects on children with food insecurities? They achieve lower in school. They usually develop emotional problems and have poor health. 90% of the children under 3 are affected by food insecurities, have poor health. That means they're sick all the time. 31% will spend time in the hospital. A whopping 76% of these children could have problems in cognitive, language, and behavior development. Wow. All of these children all they might have needed was some nutritious food. And maybe some of these developmental issues might have been avoided. They might not have had them. We need to write our senators and Congress representatives and demand they have more food banks and offer healthier foods to families that are living or close to living in poverty. They also need to increase food stamps and offer food stamps to families that income is close to poverty level. I think any low-income family should be given free cooking lessons. The name should be How to Cook Nutritious Foods Cheaply and Easily. Everybody understands what that is about. Home cooked meals are cheaper and healthier than processed instant foods. There's chicken nuggets that you buy in the store, even if they're done by Purdue. It's not as healthy as the ones where you get your own chicken, you cut it up, you bread it, you bake it. That is so much healthier for you. Less preservatives. We need to show Congress we are the voice of our children that cannot speak for themselves. Remember, these children are our future. Someday, these children are going to grow up and they're going to take care of us. They're going to run the world. They're going to be making the decisions. So now, while we are supposed to be responsible for them, we need to protect them. Poverty is a treatable epidemic, one that could be easily eradicated if everyone does a small part. Start by donating clothes to your local church, or start a food drive for the local food bank. Invite a friend that is struggling for a meal, and don't forget to send them home with the leftovers. It really doesn't cost much to put out another plate at the dinner table. I've done it a million times for my children's friends. They always have a friend that, is going through something, or their parents are having a tough time, and I always tell them to please invite them for dinner. If we all do something, even if it's small, it will eventually add up to something big. Famous words of John F. Kennedy. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Remember, our children are a big part of our country. They are the future of our country. We need to fight and protect our children because they are our future. So with John F. Kennedy's words still glistening in your mind, ask yourself, what ways can I help stop this epidemic in my country? Thank you.